Yeah, morning, Eric.
Morning, Mr. K.
Okay, so today is the review, right?
Bi-weekly review.
Mm. Yep. So, I think the topic that I want to talk about, maybe we can continue the yesterday topic because you haven't uh finished, right?
Is it yesterday or
Yeah,
is the Monday one, the job loss?
yeah, that one also.
Mm,
The 21 lessons for 21st
mm,
century, as well
yeah.
as yesterday. If you have finished, then never mind. We directly go to
Mm,
21st, 21 lessons. So
yeah.
how about you?
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. One of the topic is the job loss,
Mm,
and another topic. Okay, is we discuss something in the. Okay, I actually forget the topic, but
mm,
we actually came across something related, like the relationship, especially for men, and we will kind of like lower our standard over time. Mm,
mm.
yeah. So um, I think I already sort out the logic.
Yeah, you
Mm,
say that is a psychological effect, right?
yeah,
Uh,
it's something related to psychology.
okay.
Yeah, and so this is one,
Mm.
and the next one is a good intention. Mm, yeah, related to something.
The lies
Mm,
is what?
no, it's actually I should actually make the review in last biweekly reading sessions. Biweekly review session. But we run out of time, so I just I just delay it. Mm, yeah. Okay. So do you want to start first?
Okay. So start from the job loss first, right? The top.
Mm,
Yeah. That day we talk about uh job loss problem. We talk about uh Bill Gates critics. We
mm,
talk about uh the solution of the job loss, which is like the UBI.
mm,
Yeah. Then yeah, I think for this topic, there are a lot more to discuss. But what I want to uh, actually discuss is about the inflated desire.
inflated what?
Inflated desire. I actually
Mm,
I forgot the correct term for this. We had one
mm,
topic before, right? But uh, I just want to say that we have the desire, and the desire is keep inflating
mm,
better quality of life.
mm,
Yeah. So for UBI, when we uh, have uh, and then we have uh, the basic income, and most of the people maybe after the transition period, the majority of people maybe they don't have to work, but at the same time it also means that they find uh, they couldn't get additional income so easily, right?
mm,
Yep. So how about their desire? Yep. Because I believe that people may not be satisfied with what they get at that time, uh, which is just maybe some basic things like food, place to live, uh, maybe education. Yeah, I think people may want more than that. They want to have something, and everybody has different desire. So how do they get the desire? And after thinking, I found that one of the topic linked before we can be discussed also, which is one of the machine we talk about. I also forget the correct term, but it is about happiness machine, which is like uh, uh, we can uh, we can we can use the machine, and then we go to a virtual world, and then we can get happiness. To get the topic I want to say?
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. So I think for this one, because right now we already have something like uh the Wi-Fi, the internet, which is affordable to many people. And at that time, I think, of course, we will have like it's free, and as well as the maybe like the AR and VR and AI mixed up technology. I think it can like quite similarly happiness machine for uh for people maybe uh to satisfy their inflated desire. Uh,
Mm.
this is what I see because I found that if you want people to like make more money to get what they want, it seems like not an easy way for most of the people. So I think maybe this will be the kind of like the solution.
Mm. I totally agree. And you, if you if you look at like 50 years ago, or even like 100 years ago, at that time, can you imagine you have Wi-Fi? We can access the internet. We can like get so much pleasure, just using a smartphone. Yeah, just using a device.
Mm,
And at that time, 100 years ago or 50 years ago, they would think this is a machine. This is an experience machine.
mm,
This is a machine that can give them the perpetual happiness or pleasure.
mm. Yep.
And right now, we all have our experience machines.
Mm,
Mm.
yeah.
Do you feel happy? Do you feel good? Do you feel uh, do you, um, do you I mean do you have the pleasure? Yeah, we have the pleasure, but how about the long-term happiness level? But it seems like our long-term happiness level keep decreasing if you compare decade to decades.
Mm,
So now we think the VR, the metaverse, is the experience machine. And once we get there, and we'll we'll feel happy, we'll feel pleasure all the time. Just like 50 years ago, 100 years ago, they think like we can like send a message instantly to
mm.
another person.
Yeah,
Mm,
will be so good, right? At that time, maybe
mm,
we think.
yeah, and we can play the game together. I can interact with others.
Mm,
Yeah, and I don't need to go to the location.
yep.
And we can maybe like play the game. And what is the game is like just like um the game we have right now. For example, mm, you couldn't see the scenes in reality. So it's not just like the playing the cards, playing some chess. Mm. It's something like you cannot replicate in the reality. Mm. You get what I mean?
Do you mean something like, for example, games in the war? In the galaxy, something like that?
Yeah, it could be, for example, like many popular games. For example, like Mobile Legend,
Mm,
or yeah, I couldn't remember the name of the games. Yeah, but I think everyone know the meaning. Mm.
mm,
This is something like you cannot replicate the game put into your reality and play like this.
mm.
You cannot like spell the magic, yeah, in the reality, but you can do that in the game.
Yep.
And don't this is an experience machine. Don't this is like do something that you really couldn't do in your reality and give you the happiness, give you the pleasure.
Mm.
Mm. And how about in future? Right now we think, oh, we need to use our hand to control, or we just look at the screens. Yeah, we play the game in the mobile phones, in the computer. We look at the screens.
Yep.
And in the future, you put the headsets on your head, and then you really can feel like you are seeing something. You are like looking like I mean what I want to say is the feeling is just like you are in the reality. You are in
Yeah.
the real world. Of course, maybe at the beginning stage you still need to use your hand to control. But after some time, when we can connect the sensor with your body, and maybe at this time, yeah, you really can like have the real feeling that you really in the real world, and you can't really differentiate whether this is a real world or whether this is the virtual world.
Mm.
Yeah, but of course, many people misunderstood that. Even though when you connect the sensor around our body, and then if you want to walk, you have to walk physically. And let's say you want to like punch the monster, and then you have to swing your hand and give a punch, give a punch partial. No, you don't need actually.
Mm. Yep.
And one simple example and one feasible solution is the headset connect to your brain, connect to the sensor in your brain, and then when your brain think that you have to punch the monster, and then in the virtual world you really raise your hand and punch the monster, and you don't need to really control your body do that in the real life, but you can feel like you really raise your hand.
Yep.
Mm.
But to me, it is just a little bit similar to what is in the dream, because in the dream we can move, we can run, we
Yeah,
can punch, but without moving our body much.
yeah, you are right. Yeah, and at that time I actually give a big framework to think about this thing. And my framework is where all this come from, why we come to this point. And you make a good point, which is our desire. This is also one of them. But what push our desire to our current situation? Yeah, and I map out the logic. Okay, the first one is everybody wants success. Everybody wants to be rich. Everyone want to be healthy, want to be fit, want to live longer, and also want to live happy. And they want to increase their well-being.
Yeah.
Every human had the same kind of like the same goal. They aim for this.
Yeah.
And so human inherently want to pursue the well-being, want to increase the happiness level. And also because humans able to think, they have the brain unlike the animal. Yeah, and also some animal can also do the basic thinking. And when you can able to do the basic thinking and you aim for the happiness, and you have the psychology, a lot of psychology surrounding this will evolve, will kind of like grow. And one of the psychological effect is human like to compare. Why human like to compare? Human like to compare, and then they want to know whether they are good enough, whether their life is good enough, whether and for example, you have a job and it gives you a decent salary and you're quite satisfied, but if you look at other people in the same industry, they earn much more than you.
Yeah.
And will you still feel happy? Will you still feel it's okay? Will you still feel satisfied? And it's very difficult to not to compare. You really have to overcome the inherent, like the weakness, to pursue yourself, to kind of like think rationally and think, okay, this is my life and I have my own pursuit. Okay, I really don't need that much money. Yeah, something like that. But is it so easy to do that? If it is so easy to do that, why we have so much desire? And also your desire is actually not come from your inside. You see many people do the same thing. You also want to try. You also want to do.
Yep.
Why don't you stay in a village and then farm your food, farm your plants, grow the animal. So kind of like harvest your water, or you live near to the river, near in the forest, and then maybe you can live off grid. You don't need electricity. Why don't you live that kind of life? You don't have to work. You free up your 8 to 10 hours every day.
Yep.
Yeah, why don't we do that? The fact is, many people know it is an option. Yeah. Many people say, oh, we cannot let the technology go too far, go so fast, and we should reverse this. We should go back like in the past. Everyone grow the foods. Everyone do the farming, and we don't need to pay the electricity. We don't need to pay the electricity bill. We don't need to pay the internet bill. We don't need to pay a lot of things. We don't need to pay car installment. Many people know that. Many people say this. But they have the option to do that, right? They don't need everybody else do the same thing.
Yep.
They can do for themselves. But why they don't do that? So psychology matter. And look at the human civilization or the human history. We produce and we create value. And we invent a lot of things. We turn the idea into a reality. And then we create prosperity. Look at nowadays. You got smartphone. Yeah. How can you build smartphones? Even a pencil, let's say you want a pencil, and pencil is so cheap, right? But how do you build a pencil for yourself? How do you produce a paper, just a piece of paper? And the paper, somebody think is a trust. For example, like the poster, they just throw away. But how do you produce that one single piece of paper? Very difficult. If you don't have the machine, if you don't have the corporations from
real knowledge.
Yeah, you don't have the cooperation from the human all around the world, from the workers all around the world. Yeah.
Yep.
And then we use our time, we use our energy to produce, to create value to the society. Everyone focus on something they are good at, and then they specialize They contribute to the society, they contribute to the economy, and everyone do their own thing, but at the end, benefit to everyone. And but look at the beginning stage. Let's say this is just the country just started, or the civilization just started.
Yeah.
And when the idea is big enough, yeah, of course, we have some idea we can produce. But how do you came out the idea want to produce a car? To kind of like to connect everyone on the internet. Do you know this is a very, very big infrastructure you need to do? You need to bring something like the wire. You need to put the wire under the sea. Yeah. And the Wi-Fi is not something magical because we have built the infrastructure. You cannot like you don't have any infrastructure and then you can connect yourself with somebody in the US. It's not possible. Yeah, there is a lot of infrastructure support behind it.
Yeah.
And also I heard one of the quotes, I forget who said it, but this is like every modern innovations is indistinguishable with magic. So every modern invention, every modern technology is just like magic. Look at the airplanes. How can human build a thing fly? Yeah, fly in the sky. We don't have the wing like the birds, but we can build something. They can fly, and human cannot fly because human cannot fly with their body, because this is something like the biological, the natural selection. Yeah, our genes think that we don't need a wing. We don't need a wing, so we didn't develop the wings. But humans want to fly. Yeah, they want to increase the productivities. They produce, and then they think. They turns the idea into a reality. And when idea is big enough, like the airplanes, like the smartphones, like the internet, like the car, and all of these idea is so big. How can a person, or how can a group of person have enough capital, have enough enough resources to stay cool, and then to delay the gratification, and then to build the infrastructure? And it takes time, maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years. It takes a lot of time. It must be a very, very rich guy, and must be very, 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 very rich, so that he can suffer the loss and then do something that they also don't know whether it is possible or not. Do you think that a few decades ago, people really know, is it possible to build a car? Or is it possible to build airplanes? No, most of people think it's not possible.
Yep.
But they invent, but they invest into the idea. Some minority of people that invest into the idea. They take the risk, huge risk, and they borrow money. Yeah, they are not use their own capital to do that. No, they borrow money. They buy the investor.
Yep.
So when the idea is big enough, businessmen or some people, they borrow money, the investor is willing to lend, the lender willing to lend, the bank willing to lend you the money, the borrower also willing to borrow the money. And another thing which is, when we have enough prosperity, it seems that opportunity is become lesser, or maybe the opportunity is still there. But if you want to turn the opportunity into something, so what I want to say is, okay, when the human civilization just started, or when the country just started, we have many opportunities, and people definitely will aim for the small opportunity first. They can give them the returns in a quicker times. Yeah, this is just nature. You want the payback. You want the payback period is short, so you do something, and then you do the trade. You do something. You produce some very simple thing. You raise the animal. You grow the food. This is something that you don't need to invest so much compared to the internet, compared to a car. But when the economy is full of these businesses, you have less opportunity to success in that area. So you kind of like, you also want to success. The first thing I mentioned, you want to success, you want to be rich, you want to maybe live happier, you want the security, you want to provide for your futures. And then you also kind of like find the opportunity to produce, to provide value to society. And so the idea will bigger and bigger, and then the difficulty will harder and harder. And we cannot just rely on ourselves to do the thing, to turn the big idea into the reality. We need to rely on the society. We need to borrow money from somewhere else. We need to find manager or some many experts to do the same thing, and we need to pay them, or we need to share them the profit. Yeah.
Yep.
And so there's been, when the idea bigger and bigger, when the economy have more prosperity and the economy grow and people borrow money, they leverage. Some of them will fail, of course. Yeah, in fact, many of them will fail. Yeah. And when they fail, why they fail? Maybe because of the idea, okay, or maybe the economy is over leveraged, and something bad happens. Maybe it's natural disasters. Maybe it's anything else. It could be anything. Yeah. And then it can like slow down the economy, or it can stop the economic growth, so that the borrower cannot finance themselves, because lender or the savers, they also feel difficult. They don't have enough money, so they stop lending the money. Yeah, safer, because the future is more uncertain. They are more willing to save the money instead of invest. Yeah, bank also the same. So when people has less money, less confidence to the future, those businesses who over leverage cannot obtain new funds, and they become insolvent. So they fail. And so from another side, which is from the government or the policy maker, they want the economy grow.
Yep.
Because each of them compete with every country, every policymaker compete with each others. They want their economy grow. They want their currency the strengthens one. They don't want to fall behind. If they fall behind, serious thing can happen. Maybe hyperinflation. Maybe the capital flow to other country, and nobody want to use your currency. Yeah, or you want to maintain the stability, the social stability. You want to prevent the social unrest. And you can also say the currency, the fiat, especially the fiat, which is the currency not backed by anything, but just the government trust. And so they compute each other, and this thing, the fiat system, actually amplified the problem. And policymakers want to recover from a recession quicker. So they stimulate the economy. Yeah. But actually, this is a time when consumers really need to save more money to cope with the uncertainty in future. Businesses also need to think careful, and also need to be less cautious. I need to be more cautious. Yeah, they really need to think what kind of business I can start in order not to lose money, in order not to lose my time when the future is uncertain. And but when the government stimulate the economy when it should not be the time to stimulate because of the nature, but we still can recover because we have more money, we have more units of the money in the system, and businessmen get new funds. Yeah, of course, those businesses who over leverage just fail. They fail, but some business, their leverage is moderate. They get new funds. Their debt level actually didn't get paid. Yeah, they didn't pay out their debts, and their profits is still not realized. They get new funds, and then they have higher debt. They invest into their business.
Yep.
They grow their business. But the environment is not very suitable for growth. Yeah, due to many reasons. For example, natural disaster like tsunami, maybe the war, maybe some other thing, maybe the weather, anything else. It could be many things. Yeah. So you try to overcome, you try to fight with the nature, and then you try to grow. So you must spend more energy to fight, to go against the nature. So what does it mean? You need more depth. You need more fuel for the growth. You need more fuel for lesser growth. So let's say initially, to achieve 3% of growth, for example, you need an X amount of energy. But now, imagine the wind. The wind is so strong, it's go against you, and you want to walk through the wind. So you need to spend more energy in order to make the progress, to make another 3% progress. You need maybe you need maybe 2x of energy. So what's the energy? The energy is a capital. The energy is a credit, is a debt.
Yep.
And when businesses, their debt is increasing, and then their profits is kind of like stop growing so fast. But they still inventing, they still provide value to society. And they just need longer time. They just need longer time to pay back their debt, to pay back their investment. And then, so you fast forward to this date, at this current moment. businesses is highly leveraged, and economic growth is slowing down. Now, of course, you may think the nominal GDP is growing fast, but if you look at the real growth, it's actually slowing down, and we just recover from the pandemic. Yeah, and inflation rate is so high. And why the inflation is so high is due to the fiscal policy financed by the central bank. Yeah. So this is another thing. But why the current moment businesses highly leverage? So this is a logic. Businesses keep leveraging, and every time we have a small recession, policymaker, government keep stimulate.
Yep.
And then so it becomes something which is very, very famous and described by the Ray Dalio, the long-term debt cycle. And every small recession and every small economic growth, and it's kind of like the short-term debt cycle, build it, and then but we accumulate the debt, so we have a lot of short-term debt cycle, but now we are at the peak, and our debt is at the peak, our debt level is at the peak. And because businesses keep inventing things, keep produce value to society, many of the old infrastructure that's over invest actually just become obsolete, just becomes useless. Yeah. So let's say, for example, printing press, printing machine is a very important technology, and businesses who invest into the printing machine, invent into the capital goods to produce a printing machine, to do business around this industry, in a few decades, is a very, very good business. This is a technology company, you know. But nowadays, who needs so much printing? No, we don't need. So the internet infrastructure is actually just make the printing technology become so useless. Of course, it still has its use. It still has the value, but the value reduced. The value just a fraction.
Yep. Less demand, right?
Yeah. And people, human productivity increase, and our way of doing things, the cost reduce. We become more efficient, and we don't need the printing. We don't need the old tech. We don't need the old tech anymore.
Yep.
But the businesses already built so much infrastructure surrounding the printing machine. So how they still haven't recovered? I mean, they still haven't get all the profit back and paid out their debts. They still have a lot of debt in their balance sheet. Maybe they keep maybe every time they make the profit, they keep invest.
Yeah.
They have the time. They have the opportunity. They have the chances to pay down their debts in the past. But many of them fail to do that. Why? Because they had to compete with each other. Otherwise, they will be out of the market. So technology improving and old infrastructure being destroyed, you can think it's kind of like the waste. Yeah. But those companies still have high level of debt. For example, car manufacturer. Yeah, you see nowadays, all the traditional car manufacturer, which one don't have high level of debt? and you look at the like the Tesla, how much debt Tesla has, and in the future, will Tesla earn more profits, or these traditional car manufacturers earn more profit?
Traditional.
And also, you look at the Walmart compared to Amazon. Yeah, few years ago, we still think Walmart is a very good business, right?
Yeah.
And we have a lot of case study in business, which is talking about the Walmart, how the Walmart exploit and utilize the economy of skills and make it the so successful business, right? But how about now? Walmart is Walmart has a risk to go bankruptcy anytime soon. Yeah, because there's so many infrastructure, and all of them is just kind of like useless compared to Amazon's. You just buy the product on the online, and then the Amazon just ship to you.
Yep.
And all the logistic facility that we build at this right moment can be obsolete, can become kind of like useless in future if we all go into the virtual world.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and when policymakers, they keep stimulate the economy, and businesses create more value, boost productivity, invent new technology, and then technology accelerate the pace. And then when you have higher level of productivity, there's a natural deflationary forces. So just like the Walmart is going to be replaced by Amazon, and all the DVD producer, all the in the past, all the VCD, all this kind of seller replaced by the internet or the pen drive, something like that, or the internet. And almost like the movie industry being replaced by Netflix. Yeah, Netflix can fund and can pay the director to make a movie, to make a drama, and then put it on the Netflix. You don't need to go to the cinema, and cinema is going to be replaced. And how about our current internet infrastructure? Elon Musk, one of his company is SpaceX, and one of the project is called Starlink, and it placed satellites around the Earth, and then because the satellite can communicate with each satellite, and then in future we don't need all of this internet infrastructure. We just use the Starlink services, and the speed is faster. The price theoretically it can go lower because the maintenance cost is lower, and just one company they can sell the services to everyone in the world. Yeah, so one company replace all the internet provider in the world. Yeah, they can keep the price very, very low, and the variable cost, the maintenance cost is so low, the marginal cost is so low. How can the traditional internet provider fight with the Starlink? Impossible. So all of our internet infrastructure were going to become like useless, being replaced. So technology actually accelerate, amplify this, and then so policymakers need more they need more stimulation to push the economic growth. Otherwise, the economy just because the productivity increased so much, the cost is reduced so much. Your GDP should lower. You see, one company can replace every other company. Of course, the benefits, part of them go back to the consumer. Consumer pay lower price. Consumer get better service. And the only one company or the top few company earn most of the profits, get a very big cake, big part portion of cake, but the size of the cake actually decrease, actually strengthens. Yeah. Because the benefits go back to the consumer. So how can you boost the economic growth? And policymaker and government want to push in order to keep the same percentage growth rate, maybe 2%, maybe 3%. They need to stimulate the economy harder and harder and harder. And then the technology grows faster and faster and faster. So it end up we have current situation. When technology is going to be totally replace every industry because of the AI, because of the 3D printing, because of other technology. Yeah, the robot. So in that case, how can you stimulate more? Every aspect can be replaced. This is the end game. Of course, we still haven't reached that point. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and at the same time, we are inequality at a peak level. Why? Because the people who know the game of the system, they all leverage. And then because when policymakers, they keep stimulating the economy, and they still produce more money, print more money, and then the scarce assets, the asset price will go up. Yeah. The productive asset will go up. People need the productive assets, and they have more money. They want to buy the productive asset, and as more people want to buy the productive assets supply cannot be scaled up so fast, so the price will just go up. It's just a law of demand, law of supply. And people also invest in the stock, invest in the real estate.
Yep.
Because this is a scarce asset. It can produce a cash flow. It can provide value. It can create value. And so it boosts the price. It feel the price grow. And people who are lucky and haven't been wiped out, even though they leverage quite a lot, but they are not the person who at the top tier which highly leverage. Yeah, those people sure already get wiped out. And the people who lucky and also who use the right amount of leverage and invest and put their debts, put the money they borrow into the place they can grow according can grow together with the asset, with a scarce asset. Their wealth increase and increase. And inflations just keep everyone poorer and poorer, because you if you hold money, and inflation means the value of the money on your hand reduce. But people who don't keep money on their hand, they put they invest into the scarce asset, they hold the scarce asset, the scarce asset value increase and increase. So it's kind of like polarize this wealth. So we have the huge wealth inequality, and poor people, they don't have money to buy the asset, and rich people, they have money to buy the asset. And so it become wider and wider. The range become wider and wider. The inequality become wider and wider. Now hit a peak. It's also fueled by the debt cycle. And of course, not all the people, not all the rich guys who borrow money become richer. Some of them just fail. Some of them choose the wrong direction, choose the wrong path. They just fail. Yeah, they just go bankruptcy. And when they go bankruptcy, who pay the bill? Government cannot let the bank fail. So government step in and build out the bank. So also print more money and stimulate the economy to let the economy grow. Otherwise, if the economy don't grow, consumer have less confidence, but they want to spend. Investor has less confidence to the future, they don't want to invest. Bank also has less confidence, they don't want to borrow. It will just lead to another recession because we already have the high debt level. So the policymaker, the government, have to keep push the economic growth. They cannot let the economy slow down. So yeah, some of the sense, in some of the aspect, you are right. All of these things fueled by the desire, the human inherent, the nature desire. Yeah. And the author of the book, is it called the Harari? And he provides some solution. The first one is we need to cultivate the mindfulness, right? This is something I solve the problem at the root cause. Yeah, I mean, solve the root problem. If we don't have that much desire, yeah, we don't need the economic growth. And yeah, businesses fail, let them fail. We can go back. We can go back to the village and do the farming. Yeah, all these things. And business who have a big idea, just like Elon Musk, want to build the EV, want to build a self-driving car, want to put the satellites around the world, around the earth, and provide a cheaper services to everyone. This project just cannot be funded. Just very, very difficult to get funding, because this project is so, they need a lot of money before it can start profits. And you look at this car at the recent 10 years, the recent decade, which internet company don't suffer a huge loss before they make tons and tons of money? This one of them, no. Yeah, no one, none of them earn tons of profits in the first years. They invest very, very much, a lot of capital. That seems like it just couldn't be recovered. It just couldn't get being paid back. But after some time, after they cross the threshold, their user base a lot, and they have the network effect, and they start to make profits, and then they become the monopoly that earns all the profits. Of course, part part of the benefit go back to the consumer. So this is how our current world look like, and this is where we come from. Yeah, and go back to the solution. Yeah, and if you want people who cultivate the mindfulness, who just don't care about the economic and our desire, this is very, very difficult because it kind of like go against with your nature. Yeah. So if you want everyone, I mean everyone, cultivate the mindfulness, then that means it should stop growth. Yeah.
Yep.
Or we have another solution, which is the metaverse. Yeah, in this physical world, because we have a lot of restriction, we are restricted by the law of nature, physics, chemistry, biology, everything. Yeah. But if we can go to the virtual world, we can produce as many steel as we want in the virtual world. We can buy the building, and the building is just make from thin air. Yeah. Make for free, and it can sell you the value. And we won't have the supply issue just like in the reality. The scale access don't need to be the scale access price don't need to be high because in the virtual world there's no scarce assets. Of course, you can artificially make the access scarce. Yeah. So my point is, in the reality, we already hit the peak. We already cannot grow the economy so fast because we have a lot of restriction. We just overdevelop the whole Earth, the planet. We can't just go further. Of course, you can go to you can go to the space, and you can go to another orbit. Another orbit. Is it called orbit or is it called, yeah, I forget the Xingqiu, something like that. Yeah. Go to space and look for other opportunities. You can do that, but we still don't have that technology. We still need decades for us to do that, and we don't have time to wait until there. So we really need the immediate solution. Yeah. So metaverse, virtual world, yeah, it suited so well. And you also can see many of the internet company, or almost all of the internet company, they have the consensus which they understand this. They put tons and tons of money into this metaverse. They want to become the next monopoly. Yeah. And when everyone are in the virtual world, we will just consume less in the real world. So at that time, the economic growth is not measured. Yeah, you also can measure the economic growth in the reality, in the real world, plus the virtual world. So your economic growth still can grow. You still can have your economic growth. And in the virtual world, there's no limit. Yeah, it can grow infinitely. So it sounds so great for everyone, for company, for businesses, for government, for consumer. So I think, yeah, no matter we like it or don't like it, this is the future. This is a trend. Digitalization of everything, including your food, including the things you think is not possible to digitalize, to the materialize. It can be. It really can be. Mm.
Yeah, yeah. I can imagine that if that visualized world comes, it can have a situation like whether you want to join or don't want, and maybe at that time they also uh, uh, can make human live longer if they join. For example, maybe
Mm.
they stay in one place and then they plug in with maybe a lot of tubes or
Mm.
the bodies, and then they give you the nutrition, and they maybe show you the data that human that join the virtual world can live longer, healthier, less suffering.
Mm.
At that time, maybe you need to choose like want to go to the virtual world or like to stay in the real world, but with
Mm.
uncertain, like maybe you can get illnesses, uh, something like that.
Mm. And it go back to one of the point we discussed in the experience machine.
Mm.
In the conversation, you have to leave everyone and go into the machine.
Mm.
But in this case, everyone leave you and go into the machine.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they stay. It's not where you want to go in.
Mm. And also, in that conversation, I say that one of the arguments, one of the against argument is not you choose not to go into the machine because our technology maybe in future can really replicate it, and you don't need to leave everyone. So that means this is an ethical question. This is a thought experiment for the experience machine because you have to choose between like responsibility, the ethic, and also your family compared with your own happiness compared to own pleasure. But now you don't need to choose that, you know. And it seems like it's a very, very realistic thing
Mm.
because this is a trend. So that against argument become more true. Yeah, and so we don't need to choose either one because we can get both in future. And so this kind of especially for this thought experiment or this philosophical question become kind of like meaningless because
Mm.
over time as technology grow, as human civilization grow, we can get both. We don't need to sacrifice anything. And if you think from the philosopher perspective, this is a thing that's kind of like couldn't destroy their worldview, you know, because they keep fighting which one is more important. Yeah, they kind of like have a lot of subset. Some believe responsibility is more important. Some believe like happiness is more important. Some believe in maybe individualization. In the I want to say is individualism. Some of them believe in collective visions. Yeah, but it seems like we can get uh like like each side. Yeah, we don't need to sacrifice. Mm. Or maybe in the future, like the trolley problem, we can choose either kill one person or kill 5 person. But as technology grow, you can kill 0 people because the trend with the AI will just automatically stop,
Mm.
and it can stop within a 0.0001 millisecond. So nobody is going to die.
Mm.
So trolley problem become meaningless.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, the time is still getting too late.
Mm.
Mm,
Yeah. Right. So
yeah, so
the topic, are they long? So
yeah, it's very long. Yeah,
okay.
so we stop by here.
All right.
Okay, talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, talk to you tomorrow, Eric. Goodbye.
Goodbye.